Okay. So, Yuna, you glamoured your eyes, and you're going to go up to see Mother. There is a stairwell that goes up near the torture, near the torturer's stairs. There's a stairwell that goes up that no one's ever really paid any attention to for a long time. Except like the stairs are dusty, right? It goes up and it curves around to a quite fine, fancy fungal wood door that is quite firmly locked with quite a few, like one of those big metal like things that blocks the path and everything. So you're gonna kind of start unlocking and...
Yeah. I'm gonna try to be quiet about it.
You are gonna be quiet?
Maybe she's not asleep but trancing.
You, either of the other two gonna go with her? Would she let you?
I wouldn't ask boss, but I would kind of look at him.
As you're going upstairs.
I'll accompany you up to the...
Rofy's probably curious enough to want to know what's happening.
You start unlocking and open the door up to a very, very large room. And this room actually has a window. So the kind of light that streams in is red through this red stained glass window. Jericho actually has a similar window in his office because it's actually the lower half of the same window. It cascades this whole chamber in a bright red light that is very eerie as it clings to old dusty bookshelves and grand dining tables. This room is the size of Yuna's room, Jericho's room, and the entryway all together. And it's one grand office. And everything is coated in years of dust and cobwebs. It's the kind of place where dust hangs in the air. And as you open the door, it kind of pushes against books and things that are piled and messed up on the floor. As your eyes kind of adjust, you see scratches over all the wooden panels in the room.
As I open the door, as quietly as I can, I am going to press a finger to my lips, to the other two, and kind of hold a hand to be like, just stay at the doorway, in case I need help. Or emotional support. And then I'm gonna very quietly creep in.
Can you give me an investigation check, please, to look for your little key? You look around and you...
Oh no.
There's my
don't see anything immediately. You walk in very slowly, very carefully, kind of around the massive dining table in the middle. And very quickly, a figure dashes from the side where these reading nooks surrounded by old books. This drow woman with long silver hair that reaches the ground at this point.
Is it startling?
One eye is visible, the rest is covered in hair. It's like, Univara, you've come to say hello to Mother? How long have you locked me in here? And one hand, long-nailed hand, just digs into the wood of the table beside, making this horrible scraping noise.
You know what, Mother? Yes, I have come to say hi. And you know, Brother really wants to say hi as well. He's just downstairs.
Her head, like, snaps, and then she points at, like, Voss in the door. You've come to kill me at last!
No. That's just my friend. That's just my friend.
You don't have any friends! And you never will!
Oh, okay.
Because your interests repel those of intelligence.
Oh. I mean, Boss is fairly intelligent.
But you've always had pretty eyes. She kind of gets, kind of drifts off.
Mm-hmm.
But her hand keeps scraping at the table and it's kind of curling up the wood.
I'm gonna go look for things.
Give me another investigation check. Yeah.
As best as I can.
You find it. It's actually quite high up on a shelf, a little higher than you.
Is there a stool? I can
Yeah,
stand
there's like one of those footstool kind of things you can move, and it's like you kind of glance back, and now she's just staring at you again with that one very.
I'm just gonna grab that, and I'm gonna grab the footstool.
She just very slowly drags a nail down her face, making it bleed.
And I'm gonna move it. I'm gonna stand up on it. I'm just gonna take this.
It's mine. Everything here is mine. Best you forget.
No, it's definitely. I'm gonna bring it back. I promise.
Rofy just starts loading something else into his Arcane Cannon and lowering the settings. He's got an idea, but he's doing it slowly.
Are you sure you don't want to go say hi to our brother, to your son? He's doing a great job running the house.
Don't try and trick me.
No, I'm not. I promise.
Trying to play your little games.
No.
I have a game we could play.
Oh, no, it's okay. I'm gonna run. I'm gonna run to the door. Try to run faster.
Goodbye, Univara. You can imagine quite firmly close it. You hear just a thumping noise, but it's not against the door.
Oh, that was interesting. You see, like, Rofy pull out of like his Arcane Cannon what looks like a dart with like just puts it back in his bag, closes up the gun, puts it back in his bag.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was interesting.
Yeah, we really should put her somewhere else.
Like another
I know.
plane, perhaps.
I know an asylum would be nicer, but I feel like we put her on another plane. She just crawl her way back.
You're aware, like while you're having this conversation in like the entryway, like there's a little bit of red light that comes through the bottom of the door, and then you just see that kind of block out because she's clearly on the other side there.
All right.
We should go.
Yeah, we should go. Let's not do that again.
But you got the key. You got the key, right?
Yes, I did.
It's a big fancy dwarven key. In a very dwarven fashion, there's kind of a face. There's actually a face doing this on like the side that would join into a keychain. There's got to be a name for that. I don't know.
That for a second.
Oh, sure.
I'm gonna sit down, look at it, and I'm gonna do like full-on detect magic. I'm just gonna analyze this thing as much as I can.
It's not magical. As you take 20 minutes or so doing like detect magic, doing identify stuff like that. It's not magical.
Can I make a copy?
It would be possible, although it'd be possible.
I have smithy tools.
Yeah.
Tools. I'd like to try.
It would
and
be
make
a smithing's tools check, I suppose.
Okay. Using intelligence.
Yes.
Okay.
If you're going to be taking some time doing that, there is something else I'd like to attend to.
He's just like hammering away.
I would be doing it, and then yes.
Maybe take that down. Yeah, take that downstairs. I'm going to go to my room for a minute and prepare something I've been meaning to work on.
He'll, like, as he's working on it in his hands, like, start walking and then just walk into a door frame. Oh! He goes back the other way.
And then Josh can go get the beetle.
Yeah, and while you do that...
Productivity!
Down and get ready for the trip.
I'm going to learn a spell.
Oh, that's fun.
I have money for it now.
When I go into town, on my way to get our six-legged friend... or is it 4? Doesn't matter. Giant
6.
beetle.
It's giant beetle.
Okay. Yeah.
What about 4 legs?
Right?
You get a 4-leg beetle, you better be getting a big discount.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's like a... It's a 4 4,450, but it drives like a 4,457. I am going to swing by actually a blacksmith if I can, and do what Yuna's brother suggested I do a while ago, actually, which is try to set up a little relationship with a smithy.
Okay. That's definitely possible. First of all, Rofy, with that check, over like an hour of time, you do make a counterfeit. You're not sure if it'll work 100%.
Yeah.
Correction. It'll work. But how many times it will work? You are actually aware that deep dwarven locks are very like heavy machinery, essentially. So this will probably work 1 or 2 times before breaking, because you just don't have a strong enough material on hand to make a strong one. But that's still good if it's meant to be a skeleton key for a whole area of the settlement.
And once I've done that, if they're not back yet, I want to look at that eye in the door from the other side.
There's nothing on the other side.
There's
It's
no
just
like
metal.
nothing in place. It's just
On the other side is an eye and glass. Now, boss. We actually do meet with a local blacksmith in the area. Because of the sort of area here, the blacksmiths usually do tend to samurai. So there would be various levels of samurai armor on display in their stall and be kind of open-faced, as many elven shops are. That very fine, very delicate type of chain work that goes into samurai armors, as well as armors made of full metal for those who are strong enough to bear it. They are currently sharpening blades very carefully. Their shop is open, no roof. The light kind of streams in. They are pretty old, and they are male, and drow, all things.
In terms of approaching them, would look for the oldest looking one.
Yeah, exactly. And he has like some age to him. The hair's like in a long top knot and trails down. You can see that the things he's doing here is just more or less effortless. He actually has a apprentice who is a young woman who looks indignant that they have to be taking orders from an older man.
Yeah.
But is doing so, and literally, like, when you approach, it'll be, these are the ways. It takes centuries to make armor in this true ancient fashion, and it will take centuries for you to learn. Your generation wants to do everything in moments, not decades, and that is why you fail. You're dismissed for the day. She'll kind of pack up her things and stomp out.
Awesome.
And then he will kind of go back to his work, and then like as you step at him and say, "What is it you want, samurai?"
I have need of someone with your skills.
As do many.
I'm sure. And that is why I approach you above all the other craftsmen here. Because you seem to be the one that has seen the most, and therefore had the most time to build your skill the way you build armor, swords.
I have been working in this exact forge for 400 years, and another 100 years before that. I know what it is I do, and unlike many of my kind, have not fallen to the madness of old age. Not yet! Not if you keep giving me good crafts to build. So, Shadow Dragon, what is it that you want made?
What I want, what I need made, is the best suit of armor made of the thickest plate that you have ever made.
This can be done. This can be done. Full plate armor is not something that all can bear, but I can see the strength about your form now before me. But it will cost much. It will cost you 1,000 gold and then another 500 atop of that. I can start its craft now with just 1,000.
This is what I wanted to inquire about. See, I am currently serving under the noble house de Vescos, which, as you may or may not know, is of some renown, but not to the grand heights of many of the other
Perhaps
houses.
centuries ago. Perhaps centuries forward. Right now, they are but a speck of dueling siblings.
At that comment, you'll see Voss actually smirk visibly, like just so true, so accurate. But yes, I will say to him, this is true, and I aim to see them elevated beyond anything that has been seen before. I do not expect you to start without pay. I'm merely inquiring about the cost, which you have given me. So I will return eventually with coin, but I would ask that you at least meditate on this. This armor that I would have made would be something recognizable. Something that when it is seen walking the streets on my form or on the battlefield, people will know who wears it. And, of course, know the craftsman behind it.
I
All I ask
understand, young man, I understand. And perhaps when you return with a queen's fortune, you'll be wearing that armor yourself.
Thank you for your time. All I ask is that you think on such designs, and rest assured I will return with what you ask. It is just a matter of when.
He gets back to what he was doing.
Yeah. I'm gonna
You
leave
can
and
go and buy a beetle. Do you buy the same one, if possible?
Yeah, if the same one's available, for sure. And like the exchange between this, like myself and the person selling the beetle, is much different and less respectful than the exchange between myself and the blacksmith. It's basically just like, here's the gold, and then I'm just going and taking the beetle.
Yeah. Fair business. You have a bit of a rough time leading the beetle back through the city. Just because not all of the city is designed for it. The long roads, which, I just described, are really the main roads you could take the beetle down with any ease. And you should pretty much get it as close as possible to the city and then, fetch for someone to go and gather them. Some boy. Which, of course, can gather them. Has had more than enough time to scribe things into spell books and do whatever else she wants to do. Anything fun?
Yeah, I'm gonna find my familiar. By which I mean I'm going to make my familiar.
Oh no.
Do explain.
Oh no.
I am going to take the soul of the drow noble.
Really?
The one who attacked me without provocation.
Oh, this is fantastic.
And I am going to put him inside of a porcelain doll. And I'm going to use magic.
Was that
to
the
find it.
Banshee of the Briar, or is that someone else?
No, that was the he was
He
the
was the
one
head
next. I don't remember
The
the
head
house's
of-
name.
The,
He was the head of the
alchemy house.
Yeah, and he also
Yeah, he was the one
had
extorting the-
troglodytes.
Yes!
He's the one extorting the alchemy people.
Yes.
Oh my
yes.
god, he's and he's gonna have to this is fantastic.
Awesome.
You're gonna have that the passive aggressive.
Well, here's the thing. It's kind of, with the spell and everything, it's almost making a new creature, but not quite. So there's a little bit of that personality still left in it. But also, hard-coded obedience.
Yep.
Never make a homunculus without it. And yeah, absolutely, you can. You can. I will get. Oh, there's the stats.
Carry it with me in one arm.
Which doll is it? Describe the doll. I know they're horrible, scary porcelain horror dolls.
You know what? Can I bring out the doll? Can it be the doll that I have?
Yes.
Oh
It's right
no!
there.
Go ahead, do it.
Oh,
Alright,
I
it's
guess
kind of
we
a
gotta.
weird box, actually.
chat, be ready. Be ready.
I mean, some of them have seen it already. It was on the Discord at some point.
It was a while ago. It'll be this. It'll be a drow. Of course, naturally. So glad I get to use this.
It's a prop.
I actually have others, but they're not here.
Yeah. But this is exactly the kind of horror dolls. Damn right. Cool. Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
So
Fantastic.
how
I love it.
do you just kind of like stuff the gem inside more or less?
More or less, there's a ritual behind it as well.
Yeah. I was just kind of thinking where you wanted it to be. It's all inside. Okay, so you have like the horrible animated homunculus.
Because it has a soft body, right? So I can do this thing.
I imagine it's soft bodies with some porcelain pieces depending on the thing.
You guys want to see the eyeballs?
No.
They're glass.
Yeah, that's what's terrifying is the eyeballs.
Yeah, see, that's the problem, is the face. The rest, eh. Okay, awesome. You have now that thing clicking and moving around, being generally just weird. Probably, like, being carried in your arms.
Would I have had any time to do preparation?
You did your thing.
Okay, yeah, thought so. Worth it.
Awesome. And you can meet back up on the busy city streets where he's bought a beetle, and you left before anyone can get a saddle on it. So again, it's just a raw. Actually, no, it has that box still because you kind of left that with it. So you do have some storage space.
But is it the same beetle? I gotta do high five.
That's the trick. You try to high five, and he does. So it is the same beetle.
Oh, good. Nice job,
We
boss.
need to name him now.
That's true. He hasn't got a name.
The other group stole Scritches.
It's Boulder
Gotta
Dash.
think of a new
I was
name.
scritching this beetle long before that was a thing.
I know.
I'm John Lennon.
That doesn't make any sense. Who's John Lennon?
He's a beetle.
We could also name this
You know what? I didn't even click in my brain.
We could also name this beetle Scritches, and then if we ever do encounter them, it can be like a Martha moment.
Scritches. Why did you say that?
Save Scritches! Oh.
Why'd you say that name?
That's my beetle's name.
That's one of those horrible bad meme ideas that has to be canon. Because it's too bad to not exist.
So Scritches it is.
Scritches the beetle.
I love it.
It's going to confuse someone making the Jarviskjir wiki long time in the future. Do you mean Scritches Narashiro Knights or Scritches Mother's Love?
Please.
At this point, you also gather Rakath, who has been busy working, and you go and get him. It's like, oh, I didn't know we were leaving. Going off on another adventure with our beetle.
It's noted. The first time.
Who are you?
I like the idea that at first Rofy doesn't notice this new person, and then he goes to talk to you and is like, "Ah!"
I have a feeling I won't remember meeting you until sometime in the future. So we'll save our meeting until then officially. I was having a lovely time and have inebriated myself quite heavily.
Okay. Start taking notes.
lumbers onto the back of Scritches, which makes Scritches even out because you don't have a proper saddle on him, so like he's bearing all the freaking motion. Unfortunately, the poor dude, and he's also a very nervous wreck. Scritches the beetle, and you can set up. And anything else you want to do before you leave the city?
I am gonna ask after being sad for a little bit. Boss, you consider me a friend?
I consider you more than a friend, Yuna. I don't have many friends, and you are by far the closest other being to me beyond my own family.
No.
Thank you.
If it makes you
'Cause you
feel
know,
better,
Mom.
I consider both of you my dearest friends.
I'm gonna give Rakat the hug.
It doesn't.
It will.
You do that very well.
Yuna, please look into the future and tell me if it will, so that if it will, I may commit ritual suicide at this moment.
That's terrible.
I don't know if I can tell that. That might be too far down the line. For
We're
me
just
to
gonna
see.
say it doesn't. For the benefit of all parties involved.
Rakef just gives you that kind of.
So we go into the dwarven the war sprawl first.
If you want to.
I believe so,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think
we'll
it's
go there.
closer.
It's on
Yeah,
the way.
the War Sprawl is
much
basically
closer.
a district on the outside of the city. What the War Sprawl is when the Treaty of the Deep was signed, they needed places to make these deals. And this was the place. It was basically, you know, where other countries and cities might have, like, you know, racial enclaves. This was the racial enclave, specifically for the signing of the Treaty of the Deep. Now, it's not so used now, because a new city has been made to be the head place of meetings for the treaty, something of which has frustrated the nobility of Drow Echelon. It's actually one of the core goals of House de Vescos to undermine Kavanari and continue the usage of War Sprawl, because that way the deals will be in their own territory and their own footing, and they'll have a little bit more control over them. It's kind of the way of the Treaty of the Deep in that everyone wants to be in charge of it, aside from the gnomes, who don't really care. So everyone's kind of pushing and pulling for power, and the War Sprawl was one of the initial ones of them. When going to that area, you actually straight up have to leave the city gates, and you know, you say why, and and Rofy shows his passport to someone, and you keep go down the long, spiraling rampways out of the city and into the War Sprawl, which is walled off, kind of built onto a bit of a natural hill where maybe there was farmland before, and is a collection of buildings that don't completely fit. Lots of space for tents and pack animals and things. There's quite a lot of one of the reasons you could tell it's abandoned is that there's one of these giant beetles just kind of wandering around licking things. And there's people like in the storefronts and things just kind of watching. They don't really care. It's kind of a semi-abandoned place, but what you do see is in a sort of area and collection of dwarven buildings, smoke coming out of forges. You also see a couple of illithid when you're glancing around, because they're very unmistakable. And deep gnomes who just straight up, they're like one of the people who they don't even care. They just walk under the beetle, like still looking at what they're doing. Moving on.
Familiar.
Yeah. This is one of those places where there's a lot of shady individuals hanging around, not just because you're racists, but also because it's outside of the city, but also part of the city. It kind of has it, you know, a bit of a Mos Eisley kind of scum of Hive and villainy atmosphere.
Gotcha. So this is, we know that they make some of the Warforged here, right?
They
Allegedly.
deal with the Warforged, I think was the wording. So probably like fixed. They'd have to be fixed up occasionally. Repaired.
So in other words, we can find someone who knows the inner workings of the Duras here potentially.
Yeah, they would have to know at least how not to break it.
Very well. Let's find one of these facilities then.
It's quite easy to find. The dwarven little section of War Sprawl is very easy, quite well identified, quite well marked, and also, you know, it's a forge burning away. You can kind of see. There's literally like one of those things where the forge entrance is below street level in one of those like kind of almost cellar door entrance areas. You can see kind of the fires inside through slatted windows that don't quite give away the secrets, and heat runs through them. There's actually a dwarf sitting outside with a mug. What's weird about this dwarf is completely beardless. Very smooth face. Strikes you as very strange.
Huh.
Well,
Rofy wouldn't notice or care.
look, I'll park the beetle nearby at whatever location seems appropriate and hop off. And kind of
It's like it's like the Wild West out here. There's like spaces for your beetle to stay by the side of
nice.
the road. You tie him up.
I'll
Starts
wait.
licking the
I'll
bone.
ask. The dwarf, by the way. It's like, hi, my name's Yuna. What happened to your beard?
My kind don't have beards.
Oh, really? That's odd, isn't it?
No.
Oh.
Other dwarves have beards. My kind don't. Elves! It's like splashes the bottom of his mug out and just stomps inside and kind of pulls out a key and opens the door. And he's going into the building you're looking at, by the way. And then slams the door.
Apparently that was not a dwarf.
What?
Well, he said other dwarves, which means that he's a dwarf. Right?
I would be curious to know if other dwarves consider him so. In any case, let's go inside. We go
How?
inside.
You knock
Oh,
on the
does it
door,
open?
the slat opens, like, oh, so your elves looking to buy a bodyguard. Well, it's my ability to choose who comes and goes to this place, and I choose it. You can't.
Oh, why?
I just look to you and I'm like, may I
Because
see
you
the-
don't know anything.
May I see
Well,
the key?
I
for
wanted
a
to
moment?
know. Yeah, of course.
I just insert the key. in the door.
Hey, what do you...
And like, I'm gonna do that thing you do and you're talking to someone, but like walking towards them and like as you're speaking to them. I'm just like, now that was incredibly rude. That is no way to speak to a lady of one of the noble houses of Narashiro, is it not? See, we have already purchased one of your creations here, and we simply need it repaired. Can you fix a Duras or can you not?
You see in this forge where they're making metal parts and things, there is another dwarf working away, no beard. And he backs up, and the other dwarf kind of takes out a hammer, and he's like, like, aye, we can fix them, fix their plating, but if they've run out of steam, and there's no steam, can't put steam back in the machine. We can fix the plates, change the arms, upgrade the
What?
fixings.
What if you have the Duras intact and repaired, and you have the steam, but simply not the means to put it in the body?
I took
Okay.
its soul out and put it inside of a stone. And now we gotta put it back.
He kind of talks in Dwarven to the dwarf up there, who kind of talks back down, and you actually see him kind of reach out and actually throw something to the dwarf in front, and it's like a false beard made of seemingly steel.
Oh, interesting. I'm actually gonna set my familiar down and let it wander.
Oh god, that
gonna
is
explore
terrifying.
Exactly.
Rofy's like following it, watching it. Just,
Even
like, trying to
we
figure
here
it
do
out.
not know the secrets of how this works. These secrets are locked only away in Deep Spine Tower. By working here, we hope to one day be someone who works in the Soul Forges.
Can I insight that?
Yeah. I don't see a roll.
Oh, it was a 19. Is that not there for you guys?
No, it is.
Is that
I
for
was-
me?
Okay.
It's hidden under the.
I was just eating a bit of
Dumb.
flatbread, and apparently that caused blindness.
As,
Flatbread, more like fat bread. Get it?
Got 'em.
Blindness. It seems to be telling the truth. While not very present, not very glad to have you. Doesn't really see much reason to lie to someone who's being so threatening. Right? It's kind of that sort of energy.
mhm.
So we don't need the soul forged or made. We have it already. It just needs to be reconnected.
That's beyond my pay grade.
And there's no one here that knows how to do that.
To suggest that we even could do that would be powerful. Soul bending and wielding that we. Nobody knows how they work. Deep Spine Tower just knows how to make them. Maybe Deep Spine knows how they work. He invented them.
Could you point us in the direction of him, perhaps?
Hunda, bottom. And actually throw to him a stone engraving, stone carving of this man, who is a kind of wiry, thinnish dwarf, clearly wearing spectacles where one is a square and one's a circle, wearing kind of robes, and he's kind of clutching some scrolls and things. In this engraving, there's a Duros to either side of him as well, and they're way taller. Works in the tower that makes the Duros, far, far to the east of Abanir. If you are in the Damascus house, then you could probably go there with some sort of diplomatic mission, I'm sure, if you were so interested. And Deep Spine does have a beard, but it's quite a short one. Short and well cropped.
Why do you have a beard?
It's in between Tesh's and Josiah's. He rolls his eyes and says, "We Abanir are a caste system. The Duoven do not grow beards. It does not grow. It would get caught in machinery. We wear beards only for diplomatic missions. It is like how the Duragar can grow to be the size of a house, or how the Durabol can grow spines that will keep away bugs and beasts. Each caste is adapted for their place in the world, in a grand turning cog of life."
Well, I very much like your metal beards. Thank you for your help.
Aye. You can keep that, I suppose.
Very well.
I'm gonna grab my doll.
Just pick it, just as it's about to touch something hot. Cool.
So,
That was interesting.
we have a couple choices. We could go to Deep Spine Tower and see about finding someone there who can reconnect Torum's soul to his body, or we could go to the research facility and see if we can find Tanuma there. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the Roots is like closer to where we are right now.
So, the Roots is closer, but it's not a civilized place.
Yeah.
Abanir, like, the country is pretty close. You have to go through a lot of dwarven country to get to Deep Spine Towers on the other side.
So, The dwarves aren't going anywhere, but our alchemist friend might. And
That's
worst
true.
case scenario, she's already dead, and we can take whatever's valuable in her research facility to fund our further expedition.
Also true.
That seems like a good course of action. Plus, I know Rakatha is concerned for his friend.
I'm so concerned that I've decided to be uncharacteristically silent for the next 15 minutes or so.
Whew.
Very well. We can go to the roots. You know the location of this laboratory, do you not, Rofy?
Generally, mostly. I could probably get there. If I have to see the place.
Right, but if we go there,
Yes, yes.
you should be able to float. Okay. That is all I needed to know. In that case,
You're putting a lot of trust.
In that case, let us prepare ourselves and head into the roots.
You start leaving the war sprawl towards the roots. When you've been traveling through Narashiro country before, it's mostly fungal forest. This direction, it is, but it's less fungal. The reason why they call it the roots is because of the giant roots that dig and delve through the area to plants of which unknown. Even when you're approaching the place, going through the sort of twisting caverns that open up to a quite grand entrance, which, similar to the other entrances to Narashiro, is quite sculpted. You start seeing these roots. This whole path itself, kind of outside the war sprawl, is kind of a massive, some of it's even been flattened out area for trading with dwarves. There's noticeably quite a few guard towers and things on both the top and the bottom of the cavern, watching over, but you see beetles coming in from the dwarven territories laden with goods, pulling carts of goods, things like that. And that direction's very civilized, very... then you can see this way, and it's just like bats you hear in the distance, and darkness, and the statue that kind of on either side of the cavern, as drow do, is straight up a drow samurai pointing a blade at just beasts. It's just all sorts of monsters and things make up the other side. Some of which actually are a sort of spidery shape.
Oh dear.
How foreboding.
Absolutely. And you can start your way in. Scritches the beetle, definitely nervous at that sight. But you know what? He's just going to keep on going. Because you believe in him. And I believe this is a great time to leave it for today's session. So, that's that. What a good time. Adventure time. Okay. But what is definitely an adventure is the constant adventure of friendship. And as such, we shall talk about each other now. For you, why don't we start with Dungeon Dad?
You know, I love your cadence with which you spoke that line. That's something I started introducing
I just
myself
like
with.
saying things badly. It's my favorite joke.
It's my favorite joke too, in the sense that it's not even a joke, but it's but that's what jokes are now. It's just like
They're like ironic bad things.
yeah, which is great. Anyways, that's me, Dungeon Dad. I have a YouTube channel all about D&D and monsters and stuff, where we take old ass monsters from AD&D and convert them into usable things for 5th edition. So we can go and be like, oh, what's this thing Garrett Gygax made? That's horrific. Let's put that into something contemporary that we can actually use. The most recent video I did, which came out a few days ago, is about a magic scroll that consumes people alive. It's terrible. It's basically just a book that eats people in the most horrific way imaginable. So check that out real quick if that sounds like something you want to be a part of. Other than that, you can find me on Twitter where I tweet things, mostly about the aforementioned stuff. So that's my pitch.
And you also tweeted an ominous tweet on your alt account.
That's true. I made a very ominous tweet on the Chill Touch account for the first time in like months. I have an album coming out like soon. Like I say like question mark. It's gonna be like
Soon,
less. It'll be by the end of July at the absolute latest.
It's not long.
It might be as soon as like Thursday. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. I'm grappling with some real cool things when it comes to that.
A real chill touch.
You could say that, yeah. Making music is like kind of one of those things where there'll be a day where I get like so much done in like an hour, and I'm like, this is amazing. And there'll be another day where you're just like pounding your head against the keyboard for like 6 hours, and you're like, I did nothing today.
I know that feeling.
Don't we all?
But
anyways,
let's move on to Aaron, the creator of Nightmares.
Aaron and Dungeon Dad. Okay. Yeah. It doesn't sound the same when I do.
No.
I'm Aaron. Hi. Oh, speaking of nightmares, that was my doll's. It has like a staff.
Why would it have a staff?
I don't know. It's like a rodent head staff.
What?
It came with it. I don't know. My grandmother got this for me.
Okay. How did that get left out of the description when you were talking about how creepy it was? Look at its face, it's so creepy. Never mind the fact that it came with a staff that has the skull of an animal on it, apparently.
Fucking hell.
My grandmother got it for me.
Destroy that. Destroy it.
It's for sure he's haunted. And if it's not, it will be.
The grandmother passed away, so I can't throw it away. It was a gift. So
it'll just find its way back. It'll crawl back. Just like Yuna's mother.
Well, exactly. That's how the haunting starts, when you're mean to the doll.
That's
right?
true.
True.
Now, is making it be a familiar in your D&D game mean or respectful to the spirit haunting the doll?
Well, we'll find out. Oh, you'll find out.
Well.
No, well, it's possible. So yeah, I'm Aaron.
gosh.
That's me. I had a great time this week. Dungeon Dad's content's really cool. So is Tash, and obviously here as well. It's a great time. Highly recommend it. I have a lot of questions about the parchment that eats people. Most of them come from the fact that it can reproduce once, and I want to know how that happens.
It's like an amoeba. So like literally when it fills up with, so every time it absorbs people, more writing appears on the scroll because it like learns information about the person, then the person actually appears kind of in the margin.
It like splits.
And when it gets to the point where the writing would be off the page, it kind of like extends itself until it just breaks and a tear, and then it becomes two.
Because it was either like it's gonna like something's gonna rip in half,
It's like an amoeba.
yeah, I was like, or maybe like it takes time to like this book is like writing out another book, like with a pen,
Yeah, you could totally
like
play
in its hand. Like, I don't know.
It's just
Anyway.
ripped onto another piece of paper, and then that paper's like, yo, I'm alive now. Why did you do that to me? Sentient.
This is pain. Yeah.
This is what I wanted. I'm a piece of paper, dude. Fuck off.
Time
And the paper's like,
I
I
love doing that. Especially my favorite version of that is when characters cast speak with animals. What do animals have to say? Oh, nothing. The best example is when the party talked to a giant slug. He's like, hey, have you seen anyone weird going through here? And then the slug proceeded to describe them. And it took them like 10 minutes after I'm walking off. Like, wait a minute, that's us.
That's fantastic.
Why, yes, I have.
No forest bear ever wanted a druid to come along, granted sentience, and be like, we're leaving the forest now to go do other shit. Whereas, like, I don't care about, like, politics and nations and shit. Like, I'm just trying to...
Giving an animal sentience is like a crime.
Right?
I feel like giving a plant sentience is worse, though.
Yeah.
What is it gonna do? It can't
The
leave.
same thing it always does. Stay exactly where it is for the rest of its life until someone turns it into a Bible.
Oh my god.
Alright, that's me. Bye, guys.
All right, Rofy.
Hello, I'm Tesh of the Chess Tube. You can find me under that name on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. You should follow me if you enjoy Destiny, Warframe, games like Borderlands 3 coming up. Any games like that, RPGs. I want to play God of War soon. I gotta get a new capture card for that.
God of War is really good. If I were to have 3 10 out of 10 games, it would be the third, but it's not. It's just a high 9. Which is still good.
Oh, yeah, no, I really want to play it.
Yeah, especially as I'm one of the few people in the world who does an actual out of 10 system.
But yes, unfortunately, capture cards across the earth, and mine broke. So soon to that. And yeah, you should follow me on Twitter because that's where I update about all the things I do, like this and other D&D shows, and post cute animal gifts. And now TikToks if you enjoy that.
And last is me, a man you cannot find on TikTok. The man
I'm not on TikTok.
you cannot find.
If you're on TikTok,
It's me.
you even exist.
Hopefully not, because existence is pain. Someone came and granted me sentience like 24 years ago, and like, thanks, I hate it. You can check out more here if you like this show, especially the setting. Do watch the sister show, Jarviskjir and Mother's Love. It takes place on Wednesdays at 7 BST. Also, if you like the show, it's supported by Patreon. If you support at Patreon for $5 or more, you get access to 2 extra podcasts. That's like 6 hours every week more Oli, and it all taking place at the same time in the same world, though those games are in vastly different places, and they're a little more typical D&D affair. Yes, there's not a lot for me to talk about. I'm playing Hollow Knight. I might stream some Dota Underlords because I'm enjoying playing that, and if I stream it, it's work. But I'm very busy at the moment, so that there's not as much Oli as there should be in the world right now, for there may be much more in the future, right? I'll split in half, and then there'll be 2 of me, etc, etc. That's your lot. That's us done. We'll see you next week. Say bye.
Bye.
Oh, shit!
Oh my god.